defense application. Basically, if you see the traditional frequency band, as we were discussing in the morning also, C, X and maximum we have gone up to Ku band. Ku band is up to which frequency? What was the Ku band frequency? Maximum frequency? 18 gigahertz. 18. Okay. So 18 gigahertz does not fall within millimeter wave, right? Millimeter wave starts somewhere around 30 gigahertz. Okay. So we were concentrating on these bands, but again in defense also we are fighting with the commercial players. There are allocations for 5G, which is very near to a satellite communication band. Okay. There are sub gigahertz, 6 gigahertz allocations have been done, which are very close to the radar bands. Okay, so we are already fighting for the spectrum within the 10 gigahertz band. In fact, up to 18 gigahertz, the whole band is very much congested. From 12 to 18, you have got a lot of satellite communication happening because Ku band has been traditional satellite communication for high data rate. Okay. So when we are going for next generation tactical network and electronic warfare, see earlier the war used to be fought in a particular area. Okay. We used to deploy our things in battlefield and fight the war. Whatever wars we had, conventional wars, they were all fought either on western sector or on eastern sector. Okay. With the conventional techniques, conventional weapons being deployed there. Is the war same now? If the war happens today, it will be more of electronic warfare rather than having a theater warfare. Okay, so when you have the electronic warfare, everything has to be networked. You should get, if I am sitting at headquarters, I should get the situational awareness or I should get the operational awareness about my battlefield sitting at the headquarters. That is the requirement. Okay, if that is the requirement, automatically wireless communication and wireless connectivity takes the center stage. Okay, because there is no other way. When troops are deployed, when there is a mobility, high level of mobility of troops, how do you connect to each other? Okay, this is the only way. Earlier, if you remember, conventional war, somebody has to come, or they maximum had a radio set, where through the radio set they used to tell some information. No data transfer from the battle area. But those things are changing slowly. So when these things are changing, definitely we have to also go for a higher frequency spectrum. So connectivity, bandwidth and speed. Okay, these three things take a center stage for the defense requirement. But what are the challenges? As I was already telling, we have to operate under very harsh environment and reliability is utmost important. If any one node fails in the communication, then I may have degraded my performance. Okay, so that is not acceptable. So these are the different focus areas when we talk about MMW and data technologies, high data rate data links, P3 systems. I think this term you may not be aware. See, when ISRO launches its satellite, how does ISRO get the information about the satellite? How it is monitoring Chandrayaan 3? What is the way? You are getting every day update about Chandrayaan 3, right? It has completed this orbit, it has gone to this height. Okay, this is the current situation, current location of the Chandrayaan 3. So there is a system which is used, it is called telemetry system. Telemetry system. Okay. So P3 system में there are three systems: telemetry system, telecommand system, and transponder system. Okay. So telemetry is nothing but a link from any particular airborne platform which is relaying information about that particular vehicle. Okay. So Chandrayaan 3 has got a telemetry system which is continuously sending information. Okay. There is a telecommand system which is used for a vehicle, airborne platform to be destroyed. Suppose it deviates from its path. When we launch something, it deviates because of any malfunction. Then what is the way? I need to destroy it. So that is called telecommand system. Transponder system. When I launch something, I want to track it, right? I can do that with the radar also. But if I have some kind of transmitter onto the system, I can keep on transmitting those signals and receive at the bottom. Okay, so I can do the sensing for a much higher ranges. Those systems are known as transponder system. Okay, this you may not be aware because these are all defense related terminologies or in space use. Okay, then high throughput satellite systems because of the data rate, Internet of Military Things, electronic warfare system. And coming to the sensors, generally radars you are aware. I will be talking about another kind of system we call it seekers. Okay, RF seekers. So millimeter wave and terahertz seekers. So I will explain in the subsequent slide what is seeker. Okay, so let us see few slides on each type of system and try to understand the requirement of those systems. So let us start with data link system. So what is a tactical data link basically? See, this is a part of C4ISR. C4 is what? Communication, command, control, computer. These four C's are called C4. ISR is intelligence, reconnaissance and surveillance. Okay, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance. So what are these systems basically? See, when you have, for example, if you take a battlefield, you have got so many platforms, right? There are certain platforms which are gathering the information, okay, about the enemy area. They are taking their pictures, they are monitoring the enemy assets, or they are trying to create the complete map of the area where they are going to operate. Okay, all these things are done by using the C4ISR systems. Okay, and when you are taking picture, you have to basically, suppose I have one aircraft which is flying in the enemy area. I am taking picture, but I need to immediately transmit that also, right? So when I have to transmit, either I can do through the SATCOM or I can do directly if there is a LOS link available. Okay, so these systems, all C4ISR system actually require a wireless communication, okay, for transmission of the data. So for that, what kind of application you will have? You can have command and control link, which are nothing but to control a particular weapon or a particular platform. Okay, suppose I am flying a UAV, okay, in a enemy area. Okay, now I need to command and control. How will I do? Again, a wireless link only. Okay. Second thing is, if UAV is capturing the video through a camera, I need to transmit that. Telemetry, as I was explaining, if I want to monitor whether the UAV is working properly or not, then telemetry will be used. Intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, again having different types of sensors to monitor and then again assimilate those information and distribute it to different nodes. Radio communication, for example, on aircraft or any manned system, if you have the pilot sitting on the fighter aircraft, how does it communicate? Okay, so they have got their own radio system. And what is electronic warfare? Have you heard this word?
Yes, sir. Like EMP weapon so it will affect the electronic device.
Sir,
Yeah, so that is one aspect of electronic warfare. Okay, electronic warfare,
Radar.
basically you try to disrupt or you try to come out of the any kind of electronic signals.
Tracking.
Okay, so for example, you want to jam somebody's communication. Okay, that is called electronic countermeasure system. There are concept of ECM, ECCM, then ECCCM. So basically, when you are trying to disrupt somebody, you want to jam or you want to interfere, that is called electronic countermeasure system. Okay, so your EMP will fall under electronic countermeasure because I want to generate those kind of signal so that I can destroy all the electronics or radars or whatever weapon communication system or electronics have been deployed. That is called ECM. Then if I want to come out of that and I want to have certain measures so that I don't get affected because of those kind of attacks by the enemy, then those are called ECCM system, electronic countermeasure. Okay. So those all things fall under EW system. And why EW systems are very important? I think how many of you are doing research on antennas? Yeah, quite a few. Okay, so EW, why it is challenging? Because EW, you don't know what frequency enemy is operating. Okay, so by nature, EW is a ultra broadband system. So that's why for EW antenna, making a very ultra broadband antenna or broadband antenna, by default it is a requirement. Okay, so that's one area you can just study. If somebody is working on a very broadband antenna or ultra broadband antenna, just study about the EW requirement. Sometimes we are asked that you make an antenna which operates from 1 GHz to 40 GHz. Okay, so those kind of challenging requirement comes in the EW systems. So in terms of platforms, as I was explaining, it can be land based, it can be weapon based, it can be sea based, or it can be air based. Okay, when I talk about land based, for example, I have land weapons and I want to communicate weapons which are flying from the land platform to the air. Okay, air to surface, for example, from aircraft I am launching some weapon which is going to a surface, so I need air to surface. Air to air, when you have a launch of a missile or some weapon from one aircraft targeting another aircraft, so I need air to air communication. Okay, so these are different types of requirement. And see, there are primarily three types of requirement: command and control, video transmission, and military communication, or I will say secure communication. So for everything there is a different requirement. If I require command and control, I need that to be 100% reliable. I don't want any command to be lost, but I don't require high data rate. For example, your SMS. SMS is a very short text, right? It does not require large bandwidth. Okay, but it immediately reaches to the other. When I have to transmit the video, the requirements are very high in terms of data rate, but there can be a loss in the video. Okay, for example, when you make a call, video call, you get some frames, or sometimes frame is getting frozen. Okay, but it does not, I mean, it is not a catastrophic in terms of communication. You are still able to communicate, right? So why I am giving all these examples? So that because defense things you are listening first time, so you can correlate with your daily life. Okay. Similarly, robust communication. Okay. Somebody is trying to disrupt, but I should be able to communicate even under those interference, under those EW systems. That is requirement for robust communication. Anti-jamming, low probability of detection. So anti-jamming, you understand? Somebody is trying to jam me, I will have a feature which does not allow. What is low probability of detection? I am transmitting, but enemy cannot detect. That is again one important thing which we do, which is not in commercial world. In commercial world, if you have a spectrum analyzer, you monitor, you will understand that this frequency is being transmitted. We have systems, you keep on monitoring, you will not understand there is a system which is communicating. Okay, so that is buried under the noise. There is no signature in terms of the frequency also. Those are called low probability of detection features which are implemented. Okay, let us see the market scenario. In fact, you can see the most of the tactical data length requirement is coming towards the air side. Why? You are listening about UAVs, right? Now UAV is the main focus. All are airborne platform. So UAVs, aircrafts, fighter aircrafts I am talking about. Those things are going to have maximum share. Then sea-based systems, and then you have got land-based and weapon-based systems. So the most of the focus is shifting slowly towards the UAVs. Everything is being talked from the UAVs. Launch of weapon from UAVs, surveillance from UAVs. Okay, so UAVs are coming for combat operation also, reconnaissance also, command and control also. Everything from UAV. Why? Because within the cost of a fighter aircraft, I can have hundreds of UAVs made, and without any issue for the human loss. Okay, so I can have so many UAVs and do so many things. Okay, that's why the focus area is on airborne platform in defense. So as you can see, we are already having a good forecast for the data link systems, and you can see there are so many companies, and I think if you notice, all are US giants actually in defense. These are all US big companies who are working for defense systems. Okay, so like right from BAE to Collins, General Dynamics, okay, Iridium, L3, Viasat, Northrop Grumman, Thales, I think you must have heard. Who has heard about Thales? Thales France. Okay, so Thales, I think Rafael is from where?
France.
Right?
France.
France is from Thales. Okay, so these kind of companies, Raytheon, these are all big companies, okay, which are operating in this area. I think this I will not cover. Already in the morning we have discussed. You already know about the history of this. I will just cover briefly about 5G. See, 5G is again launched in South Korea in 2019, and if you see what are the two technologies which are driving 5G, those are basically OFDMA and massive MIMO. Up to 4G we already have OFDMA and we had MIMO. But what is happening? The MIMO is evolving to the massive MIMO, and the reason is to support this kind of data rates. Okay, so already 5G is already launched, and I think some of you may have experienced. Have you experienced 5G?
Yes, sir.
So you can see the kind of bandwidth. But other than these four 5Gs, actually, there are in between there are certain standards being introduced. Those are basically intermediate standards. For example, GPRS came when we wanted to have a packet radio switching. Okay, so the GPRS was introduced, and after that, so at that time only MMS services were introduced, and internet access, very limited internet access. In fact, you have to wait for 1 minute to open a web page at that time, GPRS. Then edge services were introduced before the 3G came. So after 3G also we had 3.5 and 3.75G. So these are all intermediate standards which were basically brought in to have backward compatibility, at the same time to support for future requirement. Now 5G services, already broadly three types of services. Here I am showing fourth, which is massive IoT. But three broad services which are being supported. I was talking about fixed broadband. So far fixed broadband is by Wi-Fi. Okay. Now 5G is entering into fixed broadband domain. Okay. Then you have got mobile broadband requirement, mission critical services, and massive IoT. So massive IoT and mission critical you can combine. These are basically connecting multiple machines with a very high data rate connectivity. So essentially the fixed broadband, mobile broadband, and all machine communication. These are the three broad areas which 5G is catering. Now, what are the critical technology? Anyway, millimeter wave you know. So network will be very dense because